Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of What's the Tea? And today we are going to talk about episodes 6 and 7 of House of the Dragon. And child, when I tell you there is so much drama going on, like,
Ooh, there's so much drama in the industry, Avia. So much of it.
because the in episode 6, the first 5 minutes we get just a straight one take shot of Rhaenyra. You know, it's a 10 year jump. She's pregnant with her third child, and she's in the midst of having a baby.
Uh huh.
And right, she's finished just having the baby. Lenore comes in. It's a boy. Healthy baby boy, and everything's good. And then all of a sudden, a maid comes in. She's like, the queen requests to see you. We're like, what? What? Like, she just had a baby not even a minute ago, and you're forcing her to walk up to come see you? Like, what kind of nonsense is this? That's strike one for Allison for me. That's I mean, she had multiple, Allison graduated from being annoying to like just being on my shit list.
For real, it's not even a game at all because you sitting there, you asking somebody you once cared for, you once thought was the like so important in your life, and then you asking them as soon as you, because I wouldn't know anything about childbirth. I ain't married, and I'm obviously not capable of doing those things. But I have a mom and I have a sister and a sister-in-law, and all three of them went through it. And I can tell you straight up, after seeing them and visiting them, they is not in no mood to walk through a castle as soon as the procedure is done and going talking to some folks. That's why you traditionally go to the woman who has the child and not have them come to you. And then think about it like this: this is in the a fantasy historical time, so there's no modern medicine or anything like that. They just got the knife and they got them. So no anesthesia, none of that. Then you're expecting her to walk. Is ridiculous. Allison was bullshitting. In my notes that I have taken down, because for those who don't know, this is my first Game of Thrones experience, House of the Dragons. I've not watched any of the previous seasons of Game of Thrones, nor have I read the book. So this is my first experience to it. And in my notes, I was like, fuck Allison. That's a new recurring theme with my notes.
Like, that was pretty much the main theme of episode 1. It was, episode 6. It was pretty much just gradually watching Allison become pretty much the Karen of King's Landing, because you see, like, when Rhaenyra does come in to see Allison, like, she pretty much shits on the children. Like, she's like, she goes to Lenore is holding the baby, and she checks the hair to see if it has silver white hair like a Targaryen, but it didn't. But
so fucking petty and unbelievable. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Right. And then she says, one day one of them will look like you. I'm like, see, that's that nonsense. That's that nonsense.
That's that nonsense. That's that bullshit. That's that everything, man. Like you doing all of that extra shit. First of all, before we go any further, I want to give a shout outs to Lenore. I'm sorry, it's hard for me to pronounce that name because it sounds like Lenore, and I know Lenore's. But shout outs to Lenore. He's an OG, holding it down, trying his best, especially after everything that went down at the Green wedding. It's, God bless him, peace be with him and all. And he's definitely trying his best out there in these streets. But yeah, it's like you're gonna go to the man and says, maybe next time he'll look like you. And I'm like, the fuck? And Jack Yates, you are on point with this. Yes. Allison is sitting atop the Westeros player hater Mount Rushmore.
He is definitely on Westeros Mount Rushmore. Like player hater, like number one. Like player hater. Her daddy is second. Like her daddy is second, but she's definitely number one. And then also another person who deserves to be on this player hater Mount Rushmore is Kristen Cole. Like man can
big hoe energy. He's a chief hoe, And he like it's not even a question how much of a hoe he is. He's just a big ass bitch and a hoe, for lack of a better term.
Cause like when you got Aegon, Aemon, which is of course Allison's two kids, and then you got
Her daughter
Lucerys,
too.
yeah,
Can't
her
can't
daughter
forget her
Helena,
daughter.
her daughter Helena, and then you got uh Jacaerys, who is Rhaenyra's oldest, and then you got Lucerys, who is her middle child. She just her baby that she's having in episode 6 is her third child. So they're sword fighting, practicing sword fighting. Kristen Cole is teaching the boys, and he appreciates he's they're not necessarily teachers' pets, but he definitely treats Aemon and Aegon better than he treats
Rhaenyra's
Lucerys.
sons.
Yeah, Rhaenyra's sons, Jacaerys and Lucerys, and you could see that, like he's like just getting on them, just like, and that'll come back in episode 7 because I don't know if people notice it, but there's something that I noticed in episode 7 that comes back to that. But he's pretty much teaching Aemon and Aegon to like go full force, go here, don't show no mercy,
The
and they're
old Cobra Kai.
right, and so Larry Strong, not Larry Strong, the other Strong, not Larry, the other, the good son, the good
Yes.
son, the Harwin, the boy's actual father. They, he tends to them. He treats them like, he teaches them. He molds them, but in a good way. And he looks at Kristen like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you teaching these boys that? Like, that's not what they need to learn." And Kristen is like, the way that you treat them is kind of like a brother or a son and a cousin or a son. Like, see, now you're trying.
Now you trying to do some bullshit, like you trying to stir the pot and shit. Like, who asked you to do all of that?
Right. And so,
Like,
like, you feel me? And so, Kristen pretty much goats Harwin into fighting him and showing him that that is his son. That are the king's grandson. That's the king's grandson's, Rhaenyra's son's real father. Like he was trying to point that out. But Viserys, he just wants everybody to get along. He's not for the pettiness. Like he just want like he's dying of leprosy. Like he just wants his family around him, and they just making
and
it so
trying to
hard.
protect the profit, which we'll get into more into episode 7. But basically, he's trying to keep his family together as much as possible, so the prophecy, when the time comes, can come true. Because
Mhm.
if House Targaryen falls apart and is destroyed, then when the Song of Ice and Fire happens, then there won't be anybody to unite the realms against the White Walkers, and as such, and et cetera, et cetera. So
Mhm.
it's what I've learned about Viserys over these last 7 episodes is that he's not necessarily, he is very much aloof to a certain degree, very, too lighthearted, too kind-hearted. But it's not just because he wants to, it's also he'll find it easier for cultivating the Targaryen line to do what they need to do when the time
Mhm.
comes, which I found that interesting.
And one thing that I do appreciate Viserys doing is that, regardless of what people may say about Rhaenyra, he's always in her corner. Like
Yes.
that's something that I do appreciate about Viserys, and that comes in also in episode 7 too. Like he's always in her corner. Like as soon as he sees the grandchild, oh, let me see my grandson. Like he's let me see him. Like the doting grandfather. Like that's how he is with when it comes to Rhaenyra, because him and Rhaenyra suffered the same loss.
Yes,
You know,
they suffered the same loss, and just going off of the beginning of the series, you can tell that there was some rapport. Like there was the connection between, in my opinion, and I could be wrong or interpreting it wrongly or differently, but at the very beginning, you can tell that Viserys and Rhaenyra had a close relationship. He coveted her as
Mhm.
his first and only child at that point, and that could going from just daughter to then heir, that kind of forced them to meet, come and get closer and closer. And, with these time jumps, who knows how much more their relationship grew stronger within those interim years. I'm sure the books probably have a better understanding of it, but I feel like it's there, you can, like, off screen, their relationship has gotten better and better to
Mhm.
juxtapose how his and Allison's relationship got worse and worse. And we'll get more into that in episode 7 with some Freudian slips. What up, Dan?
Oh, what's up? What's up? What's
What
up?
up?
What's up? What's up?
What's up? And we glad you came to say hi regardless. Sometimes you gotta show up at other folks' school and just, say what's up.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. But no, 6 with Kristen Cole, he's a bitch. He's been a bitch. He's always will be a bitch. All of this goading and whatnot. What bothers me about Allison, because if you'll excuse me, I'll go on a tangent. What bothers me about Allison is the fact that her whole beef in episode 5 was she felt like she was lied to about her, Rhaenyra, and Daemon having sex, because that was the accusation that her father levied against her because of his spies. And they didn't do it. They did do some bullshit, which I hate to say is now I'm now numb to the incest in the show. Unfortunately, God forgive me for it. They're just not gonna stop, and I just gotta accept
It's just
that.
something you just gotta get when it comes to Game of Thrones. That's just something you just gotta get used to. Just you gotta let it roll. Just let it roll off your back. I know it's disgusting, but just it is what it is.
Yeah. but that was her. That was like the high crime, was that she and her uncle were having sex in the streets, and that's what it was. Now, when you throw Kristen Cole into the whole shebang, I mean, that's not an issue. Like, it shouldn't be an issue with Allison. Maybe with the old fuddy-duddies, men who, and that's as has been established, like to double standard. How dare the female heir go about having sex with folks? But if it was Daemon, as we all well and know, he was doing that because he had, his bronze queen, as I'm going to call her, and then he had his side piece as well. And he wasn't like, he was at that point in time. It wasn't until he said what he said about the baby, he was still heir. So Rhaenyra getting busy with Kristen Cole, that shouldn't have been like, that's not that wasn't a thing that I believed should have caused Allison to flip like she did, because again, Kristen Cole admitted to what he did with Rhaenyra. There's is probably now, after the 10-year gap, some understanding of if it was Daemon or not. But at that point in time, no one is like, they're still stuck on the Kristen Cole thing. So I feel like Allison being betrayed by that and having her father, and feeling like her father was wrongfully, excommunicated. I feel like that was a bullshit. And I just gotta say it like this. It has less to do, and I know you're gonna follow up with this because you know exactly where I'm gonna go. It ain't got nothing to do with what Rhaenyra did. It's who she did it with, because Allison wanted to go ahead and be down to clown with Rhaenyra. That's what it always has, and that's what it always will be.
I think, was it the showrunners who released that statement that there was a thing between them? And yes, if it's Targaryen name bloodline gonna be pure, they're gonna make sure of it. They are gonna make sure of it, because I also think that Allison was also jealous because Rhaenyra could have sex if she wanted to with whoever she wanted to, but she couldn't.
Yes, and
I think that's one reason why Allison has this, and this, not this spite, this growing spite towards her, but also the fact that Rhaenyra's children aren't pure. Like, they're not from Lenore. Like, I know that pissed her off more, because now her son's chances, because Aegon, since Rhaenyra is still pronounced the heir, Aegon and Aemon and Helena, they're all pure Targaryen. Like, they come from the same mama, same daddy, everything.
yeah,
The main
I feel.
reason.
Oh, sorry. Oh, you're muted, Avia.
Uh, I am. Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, but one of the main reasons why, she's so pissed at Rhaenyra is because, like, her children no longer have any type, even though her children appear, they have no claim to the Iron Throne. But Rhaenyra's son Jacaerys, who's the oldest, does, and they call him a bastard. So it's like, so how can this bastard child be next in line to the throne, but my son can't? I think that's another reason why she's so upset
Yeah,
with her too,
and
because of that growing, because that was the main thing. Like in these 2 episodes, that was the main thing. They kept talking about the impurity of Jace, Lucerys, and Joffrey, and because Harwin Strong is their father, their birth father,
damn,
and
damn Joffrey. I just remembered that that's what the third son's name is, Joffrey. Whew. Let me ask you a quick question, Avia. Do
that
you think
name,
do you think that
that
that's
name.
the showrunners' way of tipping their hand onto some of to the fate of that character if they're naming them Joffrey? Because you saw what happened to the first Joffrey that was introduced in this particular season, and we all know what happened to the OG Joffrey in the Game of Thrones universe. So do you think that they're trying to basically say that this is a cursed name, kind of like how weddings in Game of Thrones are cursed to an extent?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I feel like, because in Game of Thrones, you come to hate that name. Like, you come to hate that name in Game of
Yes.
Thrones, and the fact that that's what they decided to name their third child, that's hilarious. But there's also something else happening that are in this around this time that I want to talk about is our boy Damon is now a
Yes.
family man.
Yes.
He married uh Elena Valerian, because they had a little thing at the wedding. But I guess it grew into something bigger. And so when we go to Pentos, where they're staying, they have twin daughters, Bela and Reina, and they're just curious kids. They're good kids. Lena's pregnant. With her third child. They're gonna have. They're gonna. We see that Lena rides Vagar, and Vagar is the biggest dragon in the kingdom so far. And a black woman riding the biggest dragon, like that made me excited. Like I was like, yes, she is riding the biggest dragon in Westeros. Let's go. And she's just a and she we see that she's a great mom to Bela and Rhaena. And mode. And I saw that Bela is more like Damon. She is like Damon, and Rhaena's the not prissy princess, but she's like like she's more girly, and it's just seeing him, because we don't my thing about this episode with Damon and his daughters, we don't really see him really parent, like really like being there with them. Like there was one scene where he's teaching Bela High Valerian. That's that one scene, but for the most part we don't really know what his relationship with his daughters really is. And
I have a theory about that.
back in in this time, Lena, she tells Damon that she wants to go home. Like she misses her home. She misses her mom. She misses her mom. She misses her brother. She misses her dad. Like she misses her family. But Damon doesn't want to go home because he doesn't want to think of Rhaenyra. He just wants to be where he is, and just chill.
Yes.
And Lena, she's in labor, but it's not going too well. So the Maesters, he talks to Damon. It's like, okay, well, here's what's happening. It's a bad look. And Damon's like, will the mother survive? That was his question. Because it mirrors what happens in episode 1, because Viserys was pretty much faced with the same choice.
Right.
But Viserys asked, is the okay? As opposed to if the child is okay. And it shows a mutual respect that Damon has for Lena's life. Like, is she going to be okay? Like, because you could see, even though we know that Lena isn't Damon's first choice, and Lena says that, like I know I'm not the wife that you had in mind. Like, I know that, but I'm here for you, Damon. Like there's like a mutual like respect between them. And
Yes,
I was,
I
it's like
would.
okay, you
I'm
know,
I'm I'm gonna I want to say this because this is goes back to his. I hope they gave her a name, but if they did, I apologize because I forgot it. But the first one we see him with, when he, when they roll up to Dragon's Keep and he's got the dragon egg, her, the one he says with child. I think that when you see it with her and Lena and even the Bronze Queen, you know,
mhm,
there I think Damon has a problem with accepting love and quietness. I think he craves conflict or is
mhm,
either is conflict and solitude. Those are the two things he craves. And while like we obviously know that even though his methods are all the way fucked up, he does
mhm,
care about his family. He won't go against the family, like he says to Corliss in episode 3, 2 or 3, where he's like,
mhm,
"I will speak of my brother however I want, but you will not." There's that loyalty. Like some, yeah, I can be the dickhead, but I will not let anybody else do that. And I think that
mhm,
he has a problem adjusting to being just happy, which is why you see him being, kind of distant to his daughters, because it's like it's not just that, he found somebody else because he didn't want to be with Rhaenyra. He found somebody else and got children out of it. And he feels like
mhm.
it's kind of it's alien, it's foreign to him. And again, I don't know how it's going to turn. I don't know how that's going to come of it in the future, but I feel like Damon's arc, I can see it, and I can be very wrong, but I can see his arc like really understanding family and also seeing the scary lengths he might go to protect the family and whatnot.
Mhm.
And with Lena, it's real sad because it's like in the episodes we've seen, we know how close she is with her brother. And I know I was reading on the TL when that episode happened, is that in the book, her and Rhaenyra are very close friends. So if we're gonna just make assumptions, we can assume like in the 10 years that maybe she missed Rhaenyra too. Maybe she missed all of that family
Mhm.
as well. But
Mhm.
Damon's still in love with Rhaenyra. It's like that. They're clashing. So when we get to that part in the episode where she can't give birth, where it's like she won't survive it and the baby probably won't survive it either, and she does what she does, that's what makes it all the more sad, is because that's kind of like foreshadowing how the Targaryen family will never be whole again, at least within the coming dance, as they
Right.
say.
Because she said, "I want to go out like a true dragon rider. Like I do. Like I'm not gonna die in this bed. Like I'm not gonna die like this. I'm not gonna do it." So she goes out. Vagar's just chilling on the cliff. She's sleeping. Just relaxing. And then Lena comes out bleeding, and she's begging Vagar like, Dracarys, Vagar, Dracarys. Like it's like the saddest Dracarys in all of Game of Thrones history. And Vagar doesn't want to do it. Like
At
right,
all.
right, right. and
Mike, we're gonna
and
let
it's
you
like
in.
you can see the hurt in Vagar's eyes because she didn't want to kill her master because and I wish that they would have shown Lena claiming Vagar. Like, I wanted to see that because could you imagine her like a teenage Lena, like in the Dragon Cage or wherever Vagar might have been, and just looking at this huge, like the biggest dragon in Westeros, like, yeah, I'm gonna ride you, like you're mine. Like, just imagine that, and then going from that, to Lena dying and begging, Vagar to set her on fire because she doesn't want to die in childbirth, and then Vagar unfortunately grants her wishes and she sets Lena on fire like a true dragon rider. And Damon, he comes out like because he sees Lena running from the hospital from her room outside. He chases after her, like, Lena, Lena, what are you doing, Lena? He sees that and he he's sad. Like you can like it's not necessarily like a tears rolling down type of sad, but it's like, damn. He's like, oh no. Like he has this oh no look on his face. Because how is he gonna explain to his daughters that their mother just died? Because like we said, like she is the stable parent. Like she's the one who shows them love and affection. Like you see that in the episode. So it's like now he has to try and pick up the pieces. And the fact that they cut a scene of him actually hugging them
Hugging,
and
that was
consoling them.
so. Why would you cut that? That would have like I don't like I like unless they have a grander gesture of kindness from Damon they have planned in the last 2 episodes of the season. I don't see why they. I don't like. I don't see why they would cut that.
Like, and it showed that he cared about his daughters because even it was Raina said that he doesn't hug us. Like he doesn't hug us. Like he doesn't show any affection towards us. And just seeing that, just seeing go from her saying that to him actually doing it and consoling them. Because like the only person in episode 7 that we see consoling them is Jace and their grandmother. Yeah. Those are the only 2 people who actually like give a crap about these 2 girls who just who just lost their mom. Yes. And then one of the last like big main plot points in 6 is that Larry Strong, pretty much he is the little finger of the series. He pretty much comes up with the plan with Allison because Allison like she just wants to take down Rhaenyra so bad that she doesn't realize what she's doing. So
here's what's so fake about Allison, right? She doesn't want to completely take down Allison at all because she just wants Allison to be held accountable and be disinherited, and then they still be cool. Because that's what's the most frustrating fucking part about all of this is Allison is so desperate for things to go back the way. Because early in the episode, Kristen Cole calls Rhaenyra a cunt, and then Allison shoots him this look like, "Don't fucking say that again." We're not like you don't have the like. So it's like it's so. I'm just gonna call it what it is. It's an abusive relationship. It's a oh, I'm going to try to break you down until I'm the only choice you have as some sort of comfort. I'm gonna try to put your shit out on Front Street. It's literally what a disjolted ex would do to somebody who's obsessed with the person that broke up with them. They're gonna just try to ruin their lives at every conceivable turn in the hopes that they break them down where they just come back to them. And then we see in episode 7 that ain't happening anytime soon, Captain. And like it's like she's like, oh, well, I just need this to be handled. And she's thinking that, oh, it's gonna be blackmail or whatever the fuck, or try to get no. This dude Flatfoot burns his father and brother alive.
Right, like his father and brother. Like, bro, if he does that to his own family, imagine what he can. Exactly, they want each other. She wants her so bad, and she's just not saying it. And it's like, if he's willing to do that to his own family, what do you think he's willing to do to who's not? Like, there's this meme on just circling around social media. It's like the ending of episode 7 when they're on the boat and Larys is there. He has his look at Allison, like it says Allison breathes, and then Larys like, you want me to kill him? Like, bro, not everything has to go to that extreme
at all.
Like, chill. And
I'm like, what game? Because first things first, it took me a minute watching episode 6 to realize that his brother was the guy. Like, the seed was planted of him and Rhaenyra probably having a relationship because he was the guy who picked Rhaenyra up out of the mob in episode 5 during the Green Wedding. And I'm like, wait, because I'm watching the episode and I'm saying, well, this random ass white dude came out of nowhere. And I'm like, he kind of looks like Kristen Cole. So if he is the guy who's the father, that kind of makes sense because maybe Rhaenyra was like, oh, you look like that dude I was smashing a while back. I'll just fucks with you. But it's, I'm like, damn. And I felt cheated, which I know then that's how I'm really experiencing Game of Thrones, because I'm like, I want to see more of this guy. I want to see what his character, like who he is as a character, but they stole it from me. They stole that from me. He looked like, again, I remind myself in episode 7, because I'm going to repeat this in episode 7. good, kind-hearted men do not last long in Game of Thrones.
They
That is
don't just like they don't like they do not last long. And the fact that pretty much the when this is also in episode 7, like one of the good like Rhaenyra says in episode 7, "You're a good man." Like, please don't,
man.
please
I swear to
don't.
God, I was like that. Abe. I'm like, oh my God, this is. And we're gonna get to what they did in its totality. But when Rhaenyra said
Mad,
that,
like mad.
and I'm like, and this is just a little bit of knowledge of Game of Thrones I have. I'm like, so why does this sound so familiar? And then I'm like, oh wait, isn't this like I've seen clips of somebody saying that to Ned Stark or describing Ned Stark like that? So I already was like, fuck, what the fuck are they gonna do to this man? Like
Right.
it's
No, I guarantee you the reason why he was so pissed at Rhaenyra because he wanted those to be his kids. He wanted Jason Luke to be his kids. That's why he's so pissed, and that's why he was so hard on them when they were practicing because he wished that they were his. We all know it. We all know it. Like, like, come on, like you're about to kill yourself over this woman. Like,
for real. Right. Between him bitch assing and Allison halfway crooking, which there is no such thing, so she's already shot out. It's like episode
look who we got.
finally. What's up, dude?
You want me to be your whore? That's what he said. He was like, "You want me to be your whore?" Like that was so funny when he said that. Y'all, I've been in the studio the whole time. Y'all doing a great job. I'm gonna pop back out. Good job.
Why? When are you coming back?
Don't do that.
Y'all are doing a great job. I'm so proud of. So proud of my babies.
Like it's supposed to be the 3-person because we're gonna get to episode 7 and the folks want to hear your thoughts on 6 and 7.
Give us your thoughts on
my
6.
thoughts on 6. Like I said, the biggest thing that happened was when like y'all said, Lenore, when she told her dragon to like kill her, that like broke my heart only because it's like every time she came on screen, it was just a breath of fresh air. I enjoyed her, her mannerisms and everything. I love the love that she had for Damon. I'm sorry. I mean, she was there for him and supported him and whatever. So, I mean, I was just sad about that because I didn't know that was going to happen. I wasn't expecting that. And yeah, that kind of broke me. But 6 was good. That was just the only thing that really bothered me was that we had to witness that. And I think that's the saddest thing that has happened on this season so far.
Yeah. And can we talk about how great Emma Darcy and Olivia Cook are? Like, they are fantastic.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
They are incredible. And it's just their chemistry, just, like this love-hate type chemistry just shows straight through 6 and 7. And pretty much that's the majority of what happens in 6. And in 7 is pretty much the funeral, the day/night of the funeral. And the first scene is them dumping Lena's casket in the sea, her official Valerian death. And pretty much during the repast, so y'all, this repast was meh. Oh, can we talk about, okay, before we get to the 7, because I forgot about this, can we talk about, because it's going to go back into 7, how Aegon is just, that window has seen so much.
He was, I was like, wait a goddamn minute.
I was like, get this man off my screen. Like, that was a hot ass mess. They could have kept that. They could have deleted that scene. No shade. like
what
we did not need to see that. That was a hot mess.
Because Allison just struts right in. Like, she just struts right in. Like, not even giving a care in the world that her son is beating his meat outside, just butt naked, just coming in, just busting in. And she pretty much talks about how your sister is going to try to kill you. But, and also, can we talk about the difference between Rhaenyra's parenting and Allison's parenting? Like, you could tell the difference because Rhaenyra is, very caring, very, maternal towards her kids because she learned that from her mom because that was what her mom did to her because her mom was a great mom.
Right.
Like, you can tell the relationships that they had with each other. And pretty much Allison's worry is that her kids aren't going to have the right to the throne. That's pretty much what her worry is. And can we also talk about how my girl Helena called it? And Mike, you came up with a very good thing in the chat. Like she a witch. Like she a
No,
witch.
she's a
No,
witch. I think, like, I literally think she's a witch. But before I say that, I think the thing about Allison is acting like her dad towards her
Mm-hmm.
kids because she was raised like that to always be in this place that you have to be in order to you basically level us up as a family as the Hightowers. You got to do this, you got to do that, you got to go consult this king and blah 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 blah. And look where she at. She's doing the same thing that her dad was doing to her own kids. So
like
I
an
mean, because it's
idiot.
all about power to that family. It's like we got to get the power because if they get it, then we don't have nothing, which is probably not
Mm-hmm.
true. I mean, you are still the queen at the end of the day. So,
Right.
but no, I think she's a witch, and I think I don't. Okay, I won't say a witch, but I think she has some type of ability or something because the fact that she said that he will have to lose an eye, boom, 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 and then the situation happened. Like she has some
Mm-hmm.
type of mediism or some type of premonition. She might be a baby Jean Grey or Emma Frost. I don't know, but the
I'm gonna
girl
say
has
this.
she got the force
She got the
with
gift.
her.
She got
I'm
the
gonna say
gift.
I'm gonna say this. Ain't she smoking that Bram? Not Bram. Which one of them cats in the that I've seen from the first Game of Thrones was the
Brand.
one?
Brand. He had the three-eyed raven. Brand. He was a
Like
three-eyed raven.
so like she got that joint going on, right? Being able to see the
No,
future and
because he
shit.
was. I mean, he
That's
was speaking
not
prophetically, but the way that she speaks in riddles it's almost like I mean, it kind of is, but it's like it's giving more of that. It's like a mental ability. It's like a telepath. It's really giving that type energy with her. I don't know because like I've seen people talk about on the timeline and how they're placing things that she said in the episodes before, and the shit is actually coming to pass. Like I feel
Mm-hmm.
like she's a mini threat, and we don't even realize it yet. I think what I would like if they're gonna tap into that, I would like them to continue to tap into that with her character development because it can be handy in like season
Mm-hmm.
2, season 3, season 4. And I think we're gonna get about 5 seasons for them to tell this whole story. But it would be kind of cool if she does be able to tap into whatever this ability is.
I
Mm-hmm.
guess because I'm looking for I like looking for illusions, comparisons, juxtapositions. So like when they're saying when the folks are saying, oh, she's predicting the future or she's having this extra side, I'm like, wait, didn't old buddy who ended up being the king, which nobody thought was gonna happen, didn't he like see the past or can time travel or some shit? And I'm like, maybe this is a version of it. Maybe I don't know if it's was specifically supposed to be just him or if that's a thing that can happen. So I'm like, because I know witches exist, like the old chick, the redheaded chick who was an old lady but
It's a
made
red
herself look
witch.
young. Like I
Mm-hmm.
know she was a straight up witch. She was a witch in the show. So I'm like, that's neither of those are far fetched. I'm just like, are they trying to say she would like is like Bram or any something like that? All I know is that, like Mike, I agree.
She's
Anything
a
that
witch,
she's
and I'm living for it. She
Yeah.
said what
anything,
she said. Like
Well, she's the only three of those children that I actually like because I mean I get Amon's origin story, like villain origin stories, of course. When we first see he's the only Targaryen child who does not have a dragon yet. Like he's the only one who doesn't, and so they're in the dragon keep, and they try to make fun of him, and they bring out a pig with wings, right? So that's how he's like, I'm gonna get me a dragon, no matter what, and that comes to pass in season 7. I mean, episode 7 because after the funeral. Everyone's still in their mode. Like Rhaenyra and Allison don't like each other. Like no one's really consoling Bela and Raina except for Jace. He's because Rhaenyra pretty much made him. She's like, hey, go over there. Talk to them. They just lost a parent. Talk to them. And then Rhaenys, she goes up there too. That's their grandmother, so she's making sure they're okay. And then of course Rhaenyra and Damon go on the beach, and they
before
get
that, I want to touch on something because I'm kind of curious of where they go in this, what direction they go in with this. Is that Corliss actually goes to which of Rhaenyra's sons is it? Was it Jaehaerys or is it Jace? No, it was which
I
one
can't
is
remember
it?
which one. I know what you're talking about. I know what scene you're talking about because he's like, yeah, if I am that means everyone else is dead. Like
Right,
I know it's yeah.
because
I think it might be Luke. I think it was Luke that he told that to.
right, because I know because that was the stipulation in episode 5 when they were discussing the terms of Rhaenyra and Lenore, who was going through with this episode. That was the terms of their wedding, is that, you know, the firstborn would be the heir after Rhaenyra, and the secondborn would end up, you know, ruling the stepstones and whatnot. And what I've learned, what I was paying attention to, was that, and Rhaenys says as much, is that the reason why Corliss keeps pushing pushing on the idea that she was going to be the queen until they stupidly voted against it. And she was like, oh no, you're doing this more for you than me. I kind of feel like, even though he knows for a fact that that's not his grandson, he knows that they have no relationship whatsoever.
It's not
But
funny.
I'm the way the scene was, is like, is he like trying to make sense of it all, or is he just playing the game so he has a foothold when the time
He's
comes?
playing the game. You remember he's playing the game because remember his retort to that was, you know, the famous line that they used in the trailer. History doesn't remember blood. It remembers names. Like he wanted to create a legacy. Like that's what
Yes.
he wanted. And can we also talk about his messy brother when he was talking in High Valerian at the funeral? It was pretty much talking about pure blood. And he was just looking at Jace and Lucerys.
Yes.
Period.
And
Girl, I
like,
just snapped and waved my finger. If you didn't see it, I'm sorry. But like, yes, blood before hoes, period. Like,
yeah. But one thing about his brother, Corliss, his brother, because we know from episode 4, we
he's a
know
messy
from
bitch who
episode
lives for drama.
3
Yep.
or 4, we know that he doesn't care too much for Daemon, but he made sure to rein Corliss in when he saw Lenore, you know, grieving in the lake over his sister. So it's kind of like, and I don't know if we're gonna get any more of this in the rest of the season, but it's kind of like there is a struggle in House Valerian between the two brothers, and, you know, one of them, you know, where their minds are in all of this, because it seems to me one had more sympathy towards Lenore than the other and whatnot. Speaking of the bro, I mean, like, golly, all of this whole partnership between the Valerians and Targaryens have literally only brought him nothing but pain. First, he lost his boyfriend the night they were supposed to usher in, you know, announce their wedding, because Kristen Cole is a bitch. Then he lost his sister after probably not seeing her for a couple of years, and they were super close. And, you know, he's gotten, and then he's in this. While there definitely is love, there's not that love that he wants to have. And he can't be the warrior, the soldier that he once was when he was just fighting in the Valerian military, the Navy. I'm sorry. I'm gonna make sure I get my battalions correct. Like, he just, like, you can always almost see like this whole ordeal has made him a shell of who he was and what he wanted to do. And all he can do now is just take
Drink
advantage of the agreement.
and screw everybody.
Like, and
Right.
it's like, you can, like, that's
He
not.
need to wake up for real. Like, and I think what I hate about his development is that they are making him a little soft. They are making him like, you know, he doesn't have to do anything. Like, even with the whole situation after the kids, he comes in there, God knows where you been, and you have some type of concern. It's like you have to be present in the moment. And if you're not present in the moment, it gives that the agreement is basically, it's not in void. Like, it's not happening because you are not doing your part. No shade.
Right.
Like, we
And
get we get the agreement of you, like, you know, you do what you want, but it's like you gotta be more present. Like, you shouldn't have been lost when you came the next day figuring out what was happening.
Yeah, that was
Right.
like when we get to that part, it was a very bad look that he was not there when all of that shit went down. Like he was,
because he asked her, like, "Where's Lenore?" Like, they asked her where he was. She's like, "I don't know." Like he was taking, walking on the beach last time I saw him, and it was like
he's going through a lot.
Right, he is. I mean, he has.
I hate that. I really just wish they wouldn't have killed his sister off. Like you
feel me? Like we just got to know her. Like we just got to know her. Like she's already a fan favorite. Like even though she passed, she was already a fan favorite. And I'm like, and her and Rhaenyra were actually close in the books, like almost sister like. Like there that, and you didn't see any of that. Like there was none of that. And I'm just like, when it to her, I'm like, where's the character development? Like, wait for Lena, like justice for Lena, like justice for my girl, because how they did her was just dirty. It was dirty.
And I'm just like, and it's like both of the Valerian siblings, I feel like got the short. Like I genuinely feel like they both got the short end of the stick in numerous ways. Even though Lenore has, yeah, they did. A Game of Thrones, from what I've seen so far, and based off of what I heard about the original series, Game of Thrones still has not beaten the can't really do black characters justice allegations. Maybe that'll change because there's still at least two major black characters.
Hopefully with Baylor and Rhaena, that will change, because at least for the research that I did last night, I went in a deep dive last night. They'll be all right from what I saw. Now that might change. They might change stuff up, but we'll see. We'll see. But can we talk? Oh, my bad. Sorry, Mike.
No, you good. I would just say it's just a lot. Go ahead. What'd you say?
So pretty much, I swear I thought Aemon was gonna pull a Bran. I swear to God, I thought he was, because when he was sneaking out, trying to find Vhagar, I swear, and Rhaena and Daemon were having sex on the beach. Like, please don't let this boy find them. Please don't let this boy find them. I was like, please, because in season 1, Bran was the one who saw Cersei and Jaime together in the tower, and that's when Jaime pushed him off. And like, please don't let this be the same type of situation. But it wasn't. Rhaena and Daemon did their thing in the little like boat or wherever, whatever underneath the boat or whatever that was, and then of course, Aemon being Aemon stole Vhagar. Like
Malfoy looking at.
Like Malfoy looking ass. Like he was not yours to claim yet. I mean, the girls just lost their mom. Like if there was like how do you know that their mom like didn't make them an arrangement, like they could claim Vhagar at this age, or then like this, that, like you don't know. You just took her. Like you just took her. And when he comes back, he goes, when because Baela and Rhaena see that Vhagar is gone. And Vhagar is like part of the family, so they're gonna notice. She's the biggest dragon in Westeros, so they're gonna see that she's missing. And so they see her flying, and then they the first person they wake up is Jace. Like, Jace, someone stole Vhagar. Like, someone stole Vhagar. And he goes, okay.
Oh man.
So, and you're right, man. The girls will be just fine because they wind up having dragons, so they will be fine. They will be okay. And Aemon comes back. They find him, and Rhaena confronts him like, "That's my mother's dragon. Did she belong to me? Well, you should have claimed. Well, you didn't give her a chance to claim her because you took her.
Bitch. You're a bitch ass king.
Like, and I get it. I get why he did it, but it was like I literally hate this whole scene, and I love the scene at the same time, because it's like I like the fact that he can elevate himself as a character, but at the same time, I feel like it was the wrong time, wrong place. You're disrespectful. You shouldn't have did it to them. Like that it grinds my gears that it went down like that. But we all get a prize at the end of this scene, so it's like it's a give and take.
Yes.
Yes.
Like when I tell you, like, you should claim it is like you get your cousin should give you a pit to ride. It would suit you. So you're saying you took their mother's dragon, right? You took their mother's dragon, and then you're saying they don't even deserve a dragon. They deserve a pig because you
First,
felt
you
some
don't
type of
even
way.
like you don't even know your cousins like that to say like how you gonna say that about some cousins you barely know? Like, oh yeah, we got no, you barely know them. Why you got smoke for them? You ain't got you could have said, well, I just wanted to ride the dragon, y'all. No beef. I ain't got no beef with y'all. I just wanted to ride a dragon. They keep making fun of me. No, you coming at these folks you barely know. They're of Targaryen blood. They're half blood for sure, but they are not, anything lesser. Like they're like, why are you disrespecting these black women like that? But he got what he deserved because he's a Malfoy looking ass bitch, and that's why they started whooping his ass
You
when he
got
got a
him
little bit too much.
Malfoy?
Yeah, Malfoy.
Oh
Yes,
my
Malfoy look just like Malfoy.
Like,
No, because it's like, and then like he put like Raina pushes him, and then Bayla rocks his shit. Like she gives him one good punch in the face, and he says, "I'm gonna feed you to my dragon." And that's strike number 3 for me for him. So not only did you take the mother's dragon, you said they don't deserve a dragon, but then you said you're gonna feed them to your dragon. Okay, yeah, you deserve this ass whooping that you about to get. You deserve it. So then, they start whooping his ass. Like they start like when all 4 of them got on his like boop 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 boom, just going in like that 5 seconds. But here's what I was talking about that maybe people noticed. Remember when I was saying the difference in fighting style in episode 6 that Kristen Cole taught them? Remember, he taught Aemon and Aegon to not go soft. Like he told them, like you end it, like you fight till the death. And so that's what Aemon was doing. Like when you see that he had the rock, he was about to kill Jace. Like he was about to smash his head in.
right.
Like he was about to smash his head in, and Jace got the dagger for protection. Like I would too. Like you're not gonna smash me over the head and bash my head in with the rock, and not me just and I'm not doing anything about it. Like the what? No.
Like shout outs to Luke for hitting him with the Dale Gribble pocket sand technique, throwing the pocket sand in his eye, and then Jace came in with the switchblade and said, "Hey, what rhymes with Nick Fury?"
Jace did the sand, and then Luke was the one who slashed him in the eye. So little Luke, the MVP, slashed him in his eye.
It was a fucking double team for me.
Here's my thing.
Like the way,
Like
it was like when I say it happened so quickly, I was like, oh shoot.
Like, because it was, because one thing that's interesting is that, people were talking about, they were bullying Aemon. No, Aemon was bullying them. And how he's like 2-3 years older than everyone. How is he gonna let them bully him? Like, I'd be damned. Like, how is a 13-year-old gonna let these little kids bully him? That says something more about him than anybody else. Like, bro.
For real.
No, Aemon is the instigator. He was. I'm sorry, anyone who disagrees. Aemon was the instigator in this. And like,
he's a bitch. No. He's a big ass bitch.
And I get it. Aemon's gonna turn out to be a really cool villain. I understand it. I get it. But he deserved what he got. He deserved it. He deserved what he got in getting his eye slashed, because like you can't just take their mother's dragon and then not do anything about it. Like there are consequences to your actions. Like you got like, and when everyone is in the Hall of Nine, and next thing we see him like getting his eye treated, and Allison is just gone out of her mind, like, oh, they hurt my baby, and then they're asking what happened. Corlys and Rhaenys come downstairs, like, what's going on? Like, what happened? And then kids being kids, they were like shouting all at once, like, no, but one thing I heard Jay say it.
I'm going Japanese.
Yeah. So what Jay said, he said he hurt Bela. That was the first thing that he said. That was the
Yes,
first thing
I
that
heard
came
that
out his
too.
mouth. And he was defending his cousins because, like, of course, what else would he do? I mean, he wouldn't just sit there and not. And, um, Rhaenyra comes in. Damon comes in, right? But her hair disheveled and trying to adjust her dress because of what they just did. And she's like, what happened? What happened? And they were trying to tell her, and then Allison was like, your son cut my son, in the eye, and then she had the nerve. Allison had the nerve to say, an eye for an eye. I want the eye of Lucerys Targaryen. And it was like, and Rhaenyra said, no, you will do no such thing.
The fuck you say?
It was a bunch of that. The way she said it, I was like, girl, like, cut it
You
out.
are doing the most.
Girl.
You are doing like they cut the eye of Targaryen, the king's son. I'm like, bitch, the king's grandson had to almost got his head bashed in. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like the king's brother's daughters were in danger. Actually, if we keep it all the way a stack 100, they were in the stepstones, meaning that they were in Corlys's jurisdiction, and one of his granddaughters were in danger. What do you think would have happened if bitch ass Aemon killed one of them? Oh, it's finna be wartime. It's going like then we really talking about eye for the eye type shit. You know what I'm saying? Or else we again, which is the last thing we know Viserys ever wants, is for the inner Westeros to be at each other's throats. And what really pissed me off about what the fuck Allison was like, so Kristen Cole, will you go ahead and take it? And then Kristen Cole's bitch ass wanted to be like oh no, I'm just the protector of the queen. I ain't gonna do that. Like, bitch, you put these seeds in her goddamn head in the first place to be doing all of this. So I'm like, okay, you're obviously like you are taking things way too far. So I'm like, Allison, sit your old dumbass down somewhere.
But what was funny, I had to cackle, because what was funny was, when he asked, okay, what, how did this start? And then Jay said he called us bastards, and then he was like, where'd you hear this from? Aemon, look at me. Like, Aemon looked at him, like, where'd you hear this? And then he turned to his mom, and then he said, Aegon. And Aegon was like, what? What?
And then Aegon said, the fuck are you talking about? I ain't missing this.
And then the kid was like, Aegon, where'd you hear that from? And then he looked at his mama.
And he was, but Dad, we all know. Bitch, that's not what I asked you. Who told you?
Right.
Don't try to say we all know.
I hate to say it. He went into grandpa mode so quick and dad mode at the same time. It was so funny because, like, he was literally torn in, like, his feelings. And, at the end of the day, that is his daughter. Those are his grandkids. At the end of the day, that's his wife. Those are his kids. So it was like, you can see how
I'll say
conflicted the whole time in that conversation. But nah, he was in granddaddy dad mode. That shit was funny as hell to me.
I'm tripping off of when earlier in the episode he called Allison his first wife's name.
Oh yes,
right.
It's like, I'm going to bed, Alma.
Like, that's how, to me, that's when I'm like, oh, they're like, it ain't there no more. Like, I know he's old as fuck and he's dying of leprosy. He lost an arm, probably losing other things as well. But it's like that Freudian slip was like, oh, so it ain't what it used to be. And Allison was tripping the whole goddamn time. Viserys is like, the next time one of you dumb motherfuckers say that bullshit, I'm cutting your tongue out. And that's the least I'll do to you. And then, Allison.
Can I say the line, please? Because I want to tell you, I practiced this. Okay, so Allison takes the dagger, like, just mad. Allison takes everything was cool. The king was like, if anybody, says anything about Princess Rhaenyra's sons, they'll have their tongue cut out. And then Rhaenyra's like, thank you, Dad. Like, thank you, Father. Like, thank you. Like, for being on my side. I appreciate that. And, everyone's leaving. Everyone's, going their separate ways. She runs, takes the dagger, and runs towards Luke, trying to take his eye. Little Luke screaming his head off because he don't know what's going on. And, Rhaenyra going to mom mode. Going to bear mom mode, turns around, stops Allison. Allison was like, duty, sacrifice, all this bullshit that she's spewing as to why she's doing what she's doing. And then Rhaenyra says, it was exhausting, wasn't it? Hiding underneath your cloak with your own self-righteousness. Now they see you as you are. It's like,
for real. And I want to go back to that scene because I think I saw it, was it this morning or yesterday morning? Somebody put a gif of when she's starting that when she's starting that speech off. You can see Allison mouth the words "what," like she's like, it's just now dawning on her that Rhaenyra has just been, this has been bottling up inside of her for years at this point, that this isn't this isn't a relationship that can be salvageable now. Mm-hmm. For like now she fully understands that Rhaenyra has no love for her anymore. That was the straw that, as a wise man once said, that's the straw that broke the haters' back with that one.
Wait, it was a camel.
No, I mean, yes, but the Boondocks, that he said said the straw that broke the haters' back.
I was about to say, wait.
But it's the fact that she, and I want to go a little deeper into that whole situation because that was like shocking in the best way. But when she first stops Allison, she goes, you go too far, Allison. And the way she says it, it's almost like she remembers that they were once close. Mm-hmm. But then once Allison starts saying her bullshit, you can see Rhaenyra start looking around and shifting, almost like she's realizing the situation and how to properly handle it.
That's exactly what she's doing, because Emma Darcy said that she was goading her. Like she was like, you could tell, like in the scene where Rhaenyra's eyes are staring at the dagger in the fire. Like, oh yeah, like Rhaenyra is like, yeah, you gonna kill me. Like I'm gonna make you kill me.
Like, you gonna kill me good, basically.
Right.
Like they gonna see how crazy you really are. You do what you need to do.
Like it was like a split second between when she first stopped her and then listening to her drone on it. I'll say it's like almost like Rhaenyra snapped in that moment. Like she was tired of being nice, tired of trying to fix a problem she didn't create, trying to make amends. And in that one moment where she finally sees how off the damn cliff Allison really is, she goes, fuck it, mask off, and just let her know how she feels. And it's, in a way, it's heartbreaking to see Allison realize that it's over completely. She will never have Rhaenyra in the way she wants to have her. And in the other breath, the more important breath, it's liberating to know that Rhaenyra has, in my opinion, 100% reclaimed her power from Allison. Allison had the metaphorical power. Well, not metaphorical. She literally was like, she was the queen and Rhaenyra was the heir. But it's like she's 100% taking everything back from Allison. Allison no longer holds any real power over Allison. No power, really. And yeah.
And can I also talk about how Daemon didn't check on Baela and Rhaena to make sure they were okay? Like that kind of irked me. So like, you mean to tell me your daughters were in a scuffle, like almost died, and you didn't at least check on them just to make sure, at least come to them like, you okay, and then go to Rhaenyra? Like you didn't do any of that. Like, see, that's why I hope this next 10-year jump, like it really show, whatever 8-year, whatever number it is, this, the episodes 8, 9, and 10. Like I want to see his relationship with his daughters. Like I actually want to see if there's even a relationship at all. Like I want to see it. Like
I was gonna touch on this because y'all said it earlier. I think we will. I think going forward, probably we might catch a little bit in these last couple of episodes, but I know going forward, probably season 2, season 3. Mm-hmm. I think we will see Daemon have some more compassion, have some more type of, feel, because I feel like he does want to have control of everything. I think he does have this thing of this fear of that he doesn't want to be loved. When Q said that, it clicked in my head that he wants to be loved, but he doesn't want the love to control him. Mm-hmm.
So, or more important, and more importantly, in my opinion, he doesn't want love to destroy him. He doesn't want to fall in love, feel that love unilaterally, and then
you destroyed everything around you, though.
This that's
So it's
it's
like
so
you gotta,
tragic.
so you gotta, it's gotta be a give and take situation. I think that's one thing we have to. I hope that we learn that with his character development, that sometimes he's gonna have to take some shit.
Mhm.
But I think taking that the fact that no shade, you down killed your first wife,
Right.
and then
Right.
you have to actually go through an actual death with your second wife, and now you have to really harness and take care of your kids for real and actually take care of your family. So I'm hoping going forward we will see that, that compassion and that what we want from him, because he's not a bad character.
He's
he
not
just,
like
he just has some flaws.
right. It's there. Like you see him like at the end when everyone like when the greens and the blacks, separating. Like he's next to Luke, and Luke looks up to him. And everyone's like, Damon's not the stepdad. Damon's the dad that stepped up. Yeah, to Rhaenyra's kids. He said, like, I will be very angry. I will be very upset if he has more scenes with Jace and Luke than he does with Rhaenyra. But I will be very upset if that happens. Because I'm like, you mean to tell me he cares more about Rhaenyra's kids than his own?
Mm-hmm.
That's when I'm like, okay, like that's when Damon will go on my shit list.
For real, me too. I feel like, again, I feel like they are setting up an arc where he starts accepting the love of his children and his family. And I think I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm new to this. But I think that's what the arc. But if he doesn't, it'll get very old very quickly of him just being the chaotic bad boy of the family. That'll be like, especially with everything that they're setting up, we're gonna need folks to strap in and buckle up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's close it on out talking about the Ballad of Lenore, the realization of Rhaenyra had
Yeah.
to come to, and how that affected Lenore. Because I remember you put it in the chat day of, they were like, this episode ends with a twist that no one will see coming. And I'm like, fuck. And then when we go back, because me and you touched on it earlier, the speech where she was telling Lenore about, you are a good, kind-hearted man, and I'm like, fuck. And then when she's talking to Damon about, in dragon speak, I don't know the official name for it, but when they were speaking in their native tongue about it, it had like it had like a sinister air to it. And I'm just like, oh shit, they're about to heel turn big style. And they're like, so he's like, for us to marry, Leno, we have to die. And she's like, I know. And I'm like, fuck, we already know these idiots would do crazy shit. We know Damon has no problem killing folks to get what he wants. And I'm like, fuck, they're gonna, this is the episode where Rhaenyra breaks bad completely and just fucking does all of the bullshit. And I know I was typing in my notes, and I know Avia, you saw it, Mike, you saw it. I was like, here it goes. Twitter is gonna have a field day with this one. Avia, you put in the chat, oh no, like Mike, because I don't think we've heard your thoughts in its totality about that sequence. What was your thoughts on how
what I said in the chat? I said it was cute or whatever, and give me like, I said what I said in the chat. Y'all think that was a reveal? I was like, okay, because it makes me terrified for the future, because if it happens another way in the story, in the actual books, then that tells me that it's going to be deeper in the series. So that tells me that he's still not safe.
Well, before we get to what actually happened, what was your feelings when it was before the big reveal and the lead up? How were you feeling about what
I
they were
loved
planning?
it. It's a nice little plan, conceptualize and spook the people.
But spook that was finna do some bullshit though, Mike.
Why not?
Why he didn't deserve it?
I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm serious. I'm talking Game of Thrones right now. It is what it is. Like, I mean, granted, I would have been sad, and but that's the thing. Like, if you're gonna make this plan and it happens how it happens, you have to just go with the shit.
Mm-hmm.
And they say that a hero can save us. I'm not gonna stand here and wait.
No,
I'll hold on to the wings of the eagle and watch as they all fly away.
I'm about to clock out anyway. I gotta go clock in another day. Like I can't do this.
But I'm glad that.
No, it's just like my reaction. I was like, no, Rhaenyra, please, no. I had so much hope for you. No,
Right.
no.
Like, we thought you loved black people. We thought you loved the queer people. We thought you was an ally across the board. Don't do this.
But she was an ally. That's the thing. Like, y'all can't be mad. Like,
in the moment, it was sketchy.
Y'all was so spooked. Like I said, y'all was spooked
because
and
Daemon had his
ready.
cloak. Daemon had on his infamous cloak. Whenever Daemon has on that cloak, some shit go down. So
we saw him bash a woman's head in off of for nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Remember that they did. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, as Rhaenyra and Lenore, as they made that deal on the beach on walking on the coast, that has to continue. It's not gonna just stop just because you're not showing up for your fatherly appearances. Like, it's not gonna stop. So if that was the deal, I think we all should have been like, I mean, granted, yes, the fears of coming, like, are you really about to kill him off? But you have to realize that was the deal at the end of the day. You do what you want to do. I do what I want to do.
If what she wanted to do,
blue crabs. If I like hot dogs. If I like wings that are not boneless. Like,
but if what she want to do is killing his ass, then I can't be down with that.
I know that. I get that what you're saying, but honestly and truly, I was like, ain't no way y'all about to sit up here and kill this man after y'all made this deal.
But she wanted to take out the high towers. So she like, fuck all of that. Fuck what that was some other shit. Lovey-dovey shit. I'm your brother's shit. She said it's too late for all of that. It's too late for all of that. And she was like, no, we got to do what we got to do. And Damon's like, that means bruh man got to go. And she's like, I know. And I was like, fuck. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of it already. And I'm sick. And I'm like, this dude is like, he's like, I'm ready to recommit to this. Like, that was what fucked me up. He was like, I'm ready to recommit. I'm not finna just go off no more. I'm finna do this. I'm finna do that. I'm finna do woo, woo, woo. And then she like, yeah, you gone. But I'm like, damn. Like, for real? But
just imagine the parents.
No shade. If he would have been at the wayside, we would have all just kept it moving. No shade.
Nah, I was heated. I was like, I can't get down with it. I didn't talk to Mad Greasy about this chick for 3 episodes on thinking I'm on the right side of history. And then you do this bullshit. 2 black people dead because of Targaryens. What am I supposed to do with this? What am I supposed to do with this, Mike? I can't get jiggy with that.
You can't be mad. That dragon said, "You want me to do this to you?" Okay.
Oh my god.
Let me go.
I cannot get jiggy with this shit, man.
But yeah, at the end of the day, Damon.
1 second, y'all.
You good. So I guess
it was good though. I mean, I think it was a great plot twist because a lot of people was talking about how it doesn't go down. But like I said, that makes me nervous for the future because I feel like if it does happen, it won't be on her. It won't be on her hands. It'll be on somebody else's hands. That will make a bigger, storyline or story arc for the future if it does happen like that. So, I'm kind of glad that it didn't happen, but it does make me weary and worried for what happens with that character in the future.
Right.
Or even if that character would show up next episode, no shade.
It's possible. Like,
it would. Is this the part where he actually goes on and live his life by himself and not have to deal with any of this shit?
Which is good. I support that movement. Him being freed of him being finally free of all the pain and anguish and being able to live his life. I get all of that. And that I ain't got no beef with. But what I had beef with, past tense, was the original implications and how I know this is Game of Thrones and how folks be quick to turn and make you sad and break your heart So I that's where I'm at. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I'm like, I already got my cancel tweet ready, fired up. I already got my diatribe lined up. You know, not trusting these white folks. I already had that speech lined up and ready to go. You know, that's what I'm talking about. But she proved herself that Rhaenyra Targaryen is an ally across the board. She's in full support. I get all of that. So she passed the test this time.
All I can say is, you know, they, of course, Rhaenyra and Daemon get married in full like Targaryen wedding, and now that their families blended, and eventually Rhaenyra and Daemon are gonna have their own set of kids, like, and now that Dance of Dragons is really about to like start, like the kids are about to fight, like, you know, get in the shit. So I'm just like, and we see, you know, in episode 8, we see the older version of Baela, Rhaena, Jason, Luke, and you know, we see them. So I'm excited. Like I'm ready to see what's coming because they said episode 8 is slow, but like when it hits, it hits. So I'm excited about it.
Oh shit, that's gonna be an experience and a half. I tell you what, I like episode 8 and 9 is gonna ruin me, and I'm not prepared for it at all.
Oh, I am. I'm ready for your notes. I'm ready.
Like oh sheesh.
Anyway, thank y'all for joining us for another episode of What's the Tea, and we will be back
Tonight.
Yes, we will. Double feature. We'll be back as we Fuck, Marry, Kill on the next episode coming at 6:30 Central Time. So be on the lookout for that and turn on notifications, subscribe, you know, spread the word.
Yeah, because this is Halloween season. This October, babies.
Period.
So we got a lot of spooky content. Who knows? Y'all might get a taste of what's to come later on tonight. Let me just make sure I can let me just download it to this computer now. And so it's already ready to go. But yeah, Avia, go ahead and sign us out.
I just canceled. That shit was funny.
So you weren't laughing this whole time.
I mean, over here hollering the whole time while y'all doing y'all little.
Go ahead, Mike. Do yours, Mike. Go ahead.
I don't have no outro. Happy spooky season. See y'all later on tonight. It's gonna be a good time and very messy on my part. I will say that.
We stand Billy Loomis, by the way.
We stand.
I'm gonna put y'all on game because y'all keep talking about this white dude who was killing folks, his closest friends, for no reason. I'm gonna tell y'all about some. I'm gonna tell you.
Y'all, let's save it for the next episode.
All I'm gonna say is, it's basic bitch season when you're killing your friends. When we talk about the baddies is when you're killing complete strangers for slights they had nothing to do with. Now that's hot. That's what's gonna get you on down the clown. But I'm gonna leave that alone.
If you say so.
I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that be.
All right, y'all. But thank y'all for joining us for this episode. We'll see y'all later. Peace.
Rest in peace. This is October, so we're gonna say rest in peace.
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 Bye.
Wait, did we download the